Hi guys, my wonderful mathematicians. We are back and at it again on chapter 9, which is all about patterns and graphing. So in section 1 of this chapter, we're going to be looking at line plots, making line plots with data sets, and also using that data to come up with the average or the mean. So in those notes there that you can see it says average and mean are the same thing. You can use those words interchangeably. They're synonyms for the same word. So you can say, I'm going to find the average, or I'm going to find the mean of the number set. In order to find the average or the mean of a set of numbers, my notes off to the side on the bottom there simply say all you have to do is add up the numbers and then divide by the amount of numbers in the data set. So let's look at a simple set of numbers and find the average or the mean. Here's my data set. I have the number 12, 7, 9, 6, and 13. And I'm simply going to add them up. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 9 is 18, plus 6, 24, 25, 26, 27. Drop my 7, carry my 2, 2, 3, 4, 47. So when I add up the numbers in my data set, I got 47 as my sum. But that does not give me the average. I have to take this number that I have here, my 47, and I have to divide it by the number of numerals that I added. So I have 12, that's 1, 7, 9, 6, and 13. 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. I added up 5 individual numbers to get that 47. So that is going to be the number that I divide my 47 by. And then I simply divide using standard algorithm. 5 goes into 4, 0. 5 into 47, 9. I'm going to take my 2 and turn it into my mixed number. So my average of all 5 of these numbers here is 9 and 2/5. Now let's look at this data set. With this data set, we're going to first be filling out our line plot there, and then we are going to come up with the average of all of them together. So the students have measured different amounts of water into beakers for an experiment. The amount of water in each beaker is listed below. So then we have our numbers: 1/4, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/2, 1/4, 3/4, 1/4, 3/4. If the total amount of water stayed the same, what would the average amount of water in the beaker be? So like I said, first we're going to finish this line plot off to the side here that they've started for us, and then we're going to come up with the average. So I'm going to count my 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to make sure that I have 7 1/4 represented on my line plot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My next measurement that we have on our line plot is 1/2. So I'm going to count how many 1/2s I have. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now I'm going to make sure I have that many on my line plot. Then my 3/4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I have to find the average. And to find the average, as I said before, we're going to add them all up and divide by that number. Now here's the cool thing. I know that I have a lot of 1/4 there, right? So couldn't I, instead of doing 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, blah, 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 couldn't I just do 1/4 times the number of points I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So times 7? Yeah. Which gives me 7/4. I can do that the same thing here. 1/2 times 2 gives me 2/2. And the same thing for 3/4. So to get common denominators, to add these all up, I know I already have 2 that have that 4 as a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom here by 2. And that's going to give me 4/4. Bring all these down so they're all the same. Now I have common denominators for all of my numbers. 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 9 is 20. 20/4. Divide it out, remembering our song. The numerator goes in the cave. The numerator goes in the cave. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The numerator goes in the cave. So, this is not my final answer. This 5 is just simply, all I did was add up all of these numbers here, and altogether they equal 5. My next step is to take this 5 and divide it by how many numbers I have here. I'm going to take my 5, I'm going to count how many numbers I have on my line plot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to divide by 12. Obviously, I can't put 12 into 5. But I know I can use my invisible decimal, bring it straight up, and add a 0. So 12 goes into 5 0 times, but 12 can go into 50, 12, 24, 36, oh, 48. 4 times, which will give me 48. I subtract and I get 2. I can add another 0. 12 goes into 20 one time. Ta-da! And I have about, my average is about 41/100. So for your challenge problem today, I challenge you to make up a set of numbers. Use whole numbers, use fractions, if you are really daring, and try and find the average. Pick 4 or 5 random numbers, add them up and divide by the number of numbers, and just see how you do. See if you're comfortable with this concept and see how you're feeling with it. Make sure to rate yourself on our learning scale from 1 to 4 to see how successful you are. Any questions, please let me know tomorrow in class. See you guys soon.